तैयार कर लिया हूँ, उसका आंसर भी क्वेश्चन का आंसर तैयार कर लिया हूँ, बट आंसर आपको शो कर सकता हूँ कैमरा में। इक्विसेटम, ये कि बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, इसको आज मैं डिस्क्राइब करने जाऊँगा। सोचो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ, वीडियो को लास्ट तक देखिएगा। Let's get start without any doubt. The first question of a very important equisetum systematic position, order equisetals, family Equisetaceae, CEAE, in a suffix word uses genus Equisetum, species written as SPS because more than one species are present in their genus. The first one is called habitat. The plant body of Equisetum has no aerial plant and it is called underground rhizome plant. The rhizome is external and perennial horizontal branches creeping in nature. The aerial part is herbaceous, usually annual. Majority of the species is small with range from between 10 to 60 centimeter. Equisetum generally grow in wet drop habitat and partially common along the banks of streams के किनारे में पाया जाता है ये सब। However, some species are adapted to xeric condition. कुछ इक्विसेटम के स्पीसीज पाया जाता है जो कि जेरिक कंडीशन में पाए जाते हैं। सम स्पीसीज सर्वाइव इन अ फिजिकल एज वेल एज फिजियोलॉजिकल स्कैरिटी ऑफ वाटर xerophytic condition. Some common Indian species are Equisetum arvens, Equisetum deval, Equisetum diffusa. Morphology or internal external structure of stem is differentiated into nodes and internodes. Of sporophyte of Equisetum is differentiated into stem, root and leaves. Consist of underground rhizome and upright green aerial branches, joint stem with nodes and internodes. And internodes are longitudinal ridges, furrow and hollow interior. Silica deposit as the stem make it rough. Leaf nodes with a small sessile microphyllum. Scaly leaves in holes. Function is photosynthetic. Fertile branches bear strobile after some vegetative growth. Root adventitious root arises from nodes and nodes of ribosome. Other features of homosporous in nature: eusporangiate stem. The rhizome bears two different aerial parts, nodes and internal. The vegetative root is very branched and green, photosynthetic. The fertile shoots are unbranched and are chlorophyllous, and each terminate to form strobile. A whole of lateral branches present each nodes vegetative shoot. And these branches are following in two terms: branches of unlimited growth and branches of limited growth. Leaflet. The degree of branches of limited growth can describe in form of after 5 to 15 nodes its growth is usually stopped, and branches of limited growth are described in terms of nodes and internodes. Nodes, we also know that nodes, internodes, there is a difference between two nodes, that is called internodes. Leaf. The degree of fusion between two leaves of root at the leaves at node varies considerably only among different species, but also within in some species. Some species are narrow stem, usually have few leaves, and those with thick stem have many species, up to 40 in scalphy attached with the other. The scaly leaves adjacent, that is called alternate. The leaves are equisetum, has no photosynthetic. There is no function of branches, but at nodes. Rhizome is also beard in terms of beards, which are a modified part of vegetative branches, and they actively participate in parentation as well as vegetative propagation. Pyrenation, we also know as pyrenation in class 12th. Structure of heterotrichous habit. Heterotrichous means there is two zygote are formed in form of there is three zygote are present in one zygote. Sterile branches and fertile branches we also form in form of figure. External feature we also shown in form of external feature has been increase your marks in form of figure. So you should firstly describe figure nodes, internodes, adventitious root, keyword, rhizome, erect system, and external feature of equisetum. Branches of limited growth and branches of unlimited growth. This is called branches of limited growth. A fertile branch is colorless after the completion of reproduction. कलरलेस हो जाता है रिप्रोडक्शन के बाद. राइजोम डिस्पर्सल ऑफ स्पोर इट इज बिकम ग्रीन और वेजिटेटिव. नोट्स एंड इंटरनोट शॉर्ट लेटर ब्रांच ऑफ लिमिटेड ग्रोथ. देखिए कैसे लिमिटेड ग्रोथ के बाद ये स्टॉप हो जाता है. और पढ़ना हम लोग को they are fused and other bases to form a distinct sheath of their distal part. Scaly leaves are fused to form give to frail-like structure. Internal structure of rhizobium and stem and leaves. Rhizobium aerial parts, nodes and internodes. Stem is differentiated into rhizobium aerial part converted nodes and internodes. It has a hydrophytic as well as xerophytic feature. It has the external body is chamber found in the reduced to vascular bundle and hydrophobic plant. Root are adventitious root type of transverse section. We also form of image. First one is called epidermis. Second one is called unicellular root. Third one is called parenchymatous. Hypodermis. Fourth one is called parenchymatous. Parenchymatous cortex. Fifth one is called endodermis. Sixth one is called pericycle. The seventh is called phloem. Eight is called protoxylem and ninth is called metaxylem. We also talk about in form of image. Exarch, protoxylem outside, metaxylem at the center. Exarch or in form of figure is very important. So epidermis, sclerenchymatous, hypodermis, parenchymatous, endodermis, basal cell, pericycle, Casparian stripped, phloem, metaxylem, protoxylem, metaxylem. Exarch condition में protoxylem outside and metaxylem inside. Sclerenchymatous, parenchymatous was a transverse section of root and shown in form of epidermis, cortex and stele. The single layer of epidermis form of outermost protective covering root of a small cell of the epidermis elongate to form a root. Here the epidermis is followed by wide cortex, usually differentiated into outer sclerenchymatous and inner sclerenchymatous. Sclerenchymatous have known as epidermis. A characteristic feature of root equisetum present at two layers of endodermis. The cell of outer endodermis layer are and a Casparian bundle, but in form of inner epidermis is a small and Casparian bundle. A protostele is present in cortex and root of the triarch and triarch xylem. A large metaxylem triarch is present in the center of the stele, that is called protoxylem stand lies around it. The phloem is present in between protoxylem stand. Anatomy of stem. We also seen in form of image. Anatomy of stem. Ridges and furrows. Sclerenchymatous vascular bundle, sunken stomata, sclerenchymatous hypodermis, cortex, carinal canal, pith is VVI phloem. The epidermis of rhizome is without stomata. The outer cortex of rhizome is sclerenchymatous. Chlorophyll the cells are not found in the cortex. The vascular, carinal and central canals are narrow in form of Casparian in form of composition up to those in the aerial shoot. We also form in terms of image. First one is called guard cell, second one is called cuticle, third one is called epidermis region, fourth one is called screen chromatous, fifth one is called chlorodenkyma, sixth one is called vascular canal, seven is called cortex, eighth one is called epidermis, nine one is called pericycle, 10th one is called phloem, 11th is called metaxylem, 12th is called protoxylem, and pith, hollow intracellular canal. E. arvens, E. debial, E. gingentum. It is the Indian species of equisetum. E. arvens is the just outside the stele, and E. debial is the outside as well as inside the stele. E. gingentum in form of image. Internode, the transverse section of internode is waxy and outlined due to presence of ridges and furrows. It have distinct epidermis as well as cortex. Stele is a range of vascular bundles. A large central pith is a cavity. The epidermis is composed of single layer of cell interrupted stomata, which are usually confused with the central pith cavity. The stomata is separated in form of four cells arranged two tiers of two cells each. A cell which has lower turn are guard cell, and three of two upper side are subsidiary cell of the accessory cell. The crescent shape accessory cell is completely covered with a guard cell. The cortex is differentiated into outer cortex and inner region. The outer cortex consists of a skeleton chromatous and colorin chromatous. The skeleton chromatous lies just below the epidermis, provides the mechanical strength of the suit. It is many layers of below the ridges, but in form of region groups. It is only one or two layers. The skeleton chromatous is formed by a band of chlorodenkyma. The inner cortex is composed of a walled of parenchymatous. It has large vascular bundle below the furrows. The cortex is differentiated into the stele by an epidermis, which are varies in its composition. It differentiates in which species: E. edible, E. arvens, E. edible, E. gingentum. We also talk about in previous topic. So let's again reproduction. Nodes and dives are very important. The nodes have carinal nodes have carinal absent, vascular carinal smaller such, cuticle absent, stomata absent, colon chromatous absent, the skeleton chromatous thinner, and pith is solid. We have present stele is range, abdominal present is branch thick, vascular bundle. Reproduction of equisetum. We also talk about in terms of figure. So first one is called tuber. Have modified branches have new germinate. Second one is called stele, skeleton camera, pith, skeleton chromatous, starch, strobili, bevels, strobili, a complex structure of sporangia, or external sorus, penetrate sporangium 5 to 11, spore, stalk, hexagonal pentellate disc, sporangium, stalk, annular. Vegetative reproductions. Underground tribes and subspecies of equisetum arvens, from these which help to vegetative propagation. The tubers develop due to irregular growth of same branches. Birds are nodes of rhizome. They have oval shaped pear-like structure. The tubers have central parenchymatous region in starch grains surrounded by 2 to 3 layers of skeleton. Survival collection of vascular bundles are present in central region. Each bundle have individually surrounded by endodermal layer. After detachment of the form of the plant, the tubers remains in form of soil and return to favorable condition. They grow into new plant. Reproduction of spore. Equisetum is a homosporous pteridophyte. The spores develop with the sporangia borne on the sporangiate. The sporangiate are arranged in a compact cone of strobilicus, and in most of the species, strobilis are formed of terminally on the vegetative shoot, but in some species, E. arvens, they are born on a special fertile shoot, which are short-lived and die soon after the spore of slut. The strobilus have central massive cells Astrovirus axis have a large number of sporangiospoor. The sporangiospoor project at right angle to successive alternate holes from the astrovirus axis. Each astrovirus axis is stocked with a structure of hexagonal pentate disc structure and distal end. One underside of a sporangiospoor disc are 5 to 10 layers sac-like sporangia are born near its periphery in a ring. The free round of a species apex of sporangia face the astrovirus. In some species, a horeless callus-like outgrowth called annulus is present at the base of the astrovirus. The morphological nature of annulus is detached, has no interrupted as the last whole scale leaves. The fertile suit of holes are considered as a sporangiate nature in small sporangia considerably. First one is called in terms of image. First one is called pilet disc. Second one is sporangia. Third one is called sporangiospoor. Spore. In form of a figure, first one pericycle, middle layer, exospore, endospore. A spore is fertile in uncoding taken part of maturity. A spore-like branches end, spiral branched modification of endospore, epispore. Development of sporangium in terms of image. Sporangiospore form a sporangial initial. Sporangial initial divide to form eusporangias. After contraction, it form a sporangia stalk. The apical growth of shoot, which is distinct into bears structure. Initially, primordium is hemispherical, but soon as because the pellet due to formation construction near of the base development of sporangium. The eusporangia, that is sporangium, developed from a group of initial. The first division of sporangial initial is periclinial stability and outer and inner daughter cell. The inner daughter cell form a sporogenous tissue by reported division all possible plants, whereas the outer daughter cell divide to form ventrically and penically to form 2 to 7 layer of sporangial wall. The innermost layer of sporangial initial wall is function as a tapetum cell of tapetum are irregular, thick walled and nutritive in function. The cell of the outer layer developed both helicoid secondary wall thickening was help in the hinge of the sporangium. As a sporangium mature sporogenous tissue is separate to each of the function of a spore mother cell before the fertilization. 30% spore mother cell also degenerate to form plasmodial fluid. The remaining spore of mother cell undergoes a reproduction division to form four layer, and four layer become soon spherical. Germination of a spore and development of gametophyte. A spore to form germinate to form gametophyte. Prothelial small green autosporic spore unequal division to form two layer of larger cell. A small layer rhizoid cell and apical has unicellular rhizoids. The spore of equisetum germinate to shortly after the sorting. They have short-lived remaining visible for 1 to 48 after a squaring. A spore germinate to form suitable substrate. The small have starting water and the outer coat. The first division of a spore are asymmetrical to produce small rhizoidal layer of cell. The small and the form of develop in form of a first rhizobium, where the layer eventually give rise to prothelial. Spirally germinate the spore usually form a relatively thick wall and cousin shape of prothelium. The basal cell of the lower portion of the give rise to unicellular rhizoid, which help in the attachment of prothelium and perithelial of the substratum. The upper marginal cell of the prothelial are meristematic, growth more active at certain points of the lobe gametospore form a spore. Each while germinate to closely, then they are from a small prothallic which beam Antheridia and Archegonia, but in they germinate separately. Relatively large prothallia are formed which bear iron archaeospore and Antheridia. The E. arvens is a monoecious species. Under the E. arvens condition, prothallia remain a unisexual. Development of Archegonia is very important. Neck archegonial cell divide to form neck initial and cellular part. Neck initial cellular part divide to form neck initial to two neck initial and ventral initial to form two ventral canal cell and egg. Neck initial redivide to form neck canal cell and ventral canal cell and egg and archaeosporangium. Any superficial cell to form two margins of the prothallia may function as archegonial initial. It divides periclinally into outer primary cover cell and central cell. The primary cover cell divides by two vertical division forming four primary neck canal cells. These divide to form 3 to 4 cell neck initial and archegonia. Meantime, the central cell transfers into primary canal cell and ventral canal cell, but some species of primary canal cell doesn't divide directly, function as neck canal cell. In some meantime, ventral canal two unequal transverse division and larger basal cell from egg and a smaller upper cell function as a ventral canal cell. Development of antheridium in form of image पहले jacket layer, उसके बाद second flagella and anthrozoid. Jacket cell divide antheridial to form superficial cell. Superficial also divide jacket cell and antheridial. Antheridium are usually two layer, primary protecting antheridia and individual antheridia. Embedded in antheridia, protecting antheridia develop to margin and prothallus on their lobes of the right branches. Embedded antheridia developed at massive cousin shaped of the prothallus. The superficial antheridial initial divides primary into outer jacket cell and inner archegonial space. The jacket cell divide to only anticlinal region to form the single layer of antheridial jacket. A large triangular jacket cell of the apex of antheridium differentiated into cortex and a rectangular shape. The nodes of antheridium progressively change into the shape of become haploid nature. Each antheridospore are metasporosis to inform of antheridia. Fertilization. When antheridia and archegonia are attached with in form of sperm and egg, direct fertile to form new individual. सो आज का टॉपिक यहीं पे ख़त्म होता है. आप ये वीडियो को सबको शेयर कर दिए दोस्तों को. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. टाटा बाय बाय.